Ambient music was added to the game, and there's a pretty good bit of there's a fair bit of soundtracks that are added. They play depending on the areas around you. So, like in maintenance, you might get a different soundtrack than you would if you're in the bar, for example. Obviously, I'm not going to play them all. There's too many to do that, and you'll just hear them for yourself. Gloves of the NorthStar were added. They are a pair of gloves that reduce your punching cooldown drastically, allowing you to beat people to death in a flurry of punches. They cost 8 TC. When equipped, they do 8 units of blunt damage, and since they're glove slots, they don't take up any hand slots, so that is one major benefit of them. They do 8 damage a hit, and they punch extremely fast. They also can wide swing, and due to the attack speed, landing into the green zone is actually rather easy. There's also a secondary function of the gloves of the NorthStar where you can set a you could type a battle cry. You could just do whatever you want. So if you just do X, I don't know why you would do that. Every time you melee, you'll have a battle cry above your head, and thankfully it doesn't flood the chat logs. The universal pinpointer is added to the game, and the way it works is that if you left click on any object in the game and then press Z, it will track that object, and if you shift click it, it'll say the universal pinpointer is tracking whatever you clicked on, so in this case, a strange target. You can also emag pinpointers to turn them into universal trackers. You can now examine puddles and glasses of liquid. If it's something that is easily recognizable, like blood, it will tell you that you can recognize blood in the solution. It also does things like water and like beer, but either way, it lets you help distinguish certain puddles if it's a common chemical or reagent. All of the tools in the game have received a damage pass. They practically all got nerfed. The gray crowbar, for example, will do 6 blunt and 3 structural, or the red crowbar will do 8 blunt and 3 structural. The wrench is down to 4.5 and doesn't attack any faster. The screwdriver is down to 6 piercing and attacks slower. The wire cutter only does 2 piercing, but it attacks faster. The welding tool unlit only does 5 blunt, and while lit, it does 8 heat. So all the common tools in the game are now significantly worse as melee weapons. You're almost better off using your fist than some of the melee weapons. I guess you lose wide swings, but then you gain disarm. Atmospheric technicians can now be syndicate agents, so gone are the days of Atmos techs being the safe engineering choice. Now all of engineering is capable of being traitors besides its chief engineer, and Atmos techs have the ability of potentially doing a lot more damage to the station. To compensate for this, Atmos techs actually only start with 10 telecrystals. So that is something to keep in mind. They are weaker due to the fact they have more access than a normal engineer by default, and have the ability of drastically sabotaging the station. New cargo-specific events are added to the game. There's a large range of what can actually be on it. It can be anywhere from pizza to guns. And depending on which one you get, in chat, it'll tell you what you're going to get. So, for example, this one said, Nano Tresson has decided to send lethal weapons to the station security department. Look forward to your next cargo shipment. So, for this example, they sent a laser crate and an SMG crate. And you still need security access to open them. I cannot open them. Tech Disc have received yet another rework. They can now print out Tier 3 discs. They can now print out Tier 3... Tech Disc Terminal has been changed again. They can now print out Tier 3 techs again, but the thing is, it's completely random now, so you will probably end up having to print quite a lot of disc in order to get any Tier 3 techs. Which, I'm not going to do it forever, but I didn't get any there. But you could still, you could theoretically get a bag of holding if you just printed enough. So you're no longer completely locked out of other Tier 3s, but remember, it's 1,000 points each time, and now it's a complete gamble. Science has gained the ability to research grappling guns. The way grappling guns work is they don't do anything unless you're in hard mode. If you're in hard mode, they shoot out a grapple, and you can swing around on it. And if you hold right click, it'll reel you in. And if you press Z, it'll retract the grapple. Obviously, the best use of this would be in space, or like if you're attached into a shuttle. Cannot shoot people, so you don't get any fancy grappling on the people. Anomalies have gotten their point output nerfed, and the severity will jump up and down higher percentages, so it isn't quite as easy to keep it contained, and anomalies aren't quite as valuable, but a high risk anomaly will still generate a ton of points, so it's probably more worth it to actually go for more than one anomaly, try to get at least 2 to basically equal the cost of the previously good anomaly. Either way, it adds more risk to the anomalies, which have gotten otherwise rather safe. The last thing I'll include this week is level 3 Singularity's decay slightly faster, and roughly translated, what that means is that the Singularity will no longer automatically keep growing and end up breaking containment on a level 1 particle accelerator. So if you actually set up the Singularity correctly, you don't have to worry about it unless someone sabotages it. There's a lot of good stuff this week, with bug fixes and content, just the usual. Game updates at a really nice pace. I'll slowly scroll through the changelog so you can get a better depiction of what has changed. I don't cover everything, I just cover the things I believe are more player-facing and significant. I want to thank all of our contributors and maintainers for keeping the game up to date, playable, filled with content, and just polish. And that is all I got for now.